For years, Air India had one big problem. It existed everywhere but performed nowhere consistently. Today, the story is slowly changing. New aircraft, new cabins, and now new routes. So, as we step into 2026, one question matters more than ever. Where exactly is Air India planning to fly next and why? Stay till the end because Air India's route map reveals a lot more than just destinations. It reveals the real strategy under the Tata Group. When airlines want to show growth, they talk about new uniforms, new meals, and new branding. But the real story of an airline is told by its route map. Routes decide where money flows, which passengers they target, and whether an airline is serious or just loud. In 2026, Air India is clearly shifting from repair mode to expansion mode, but in a very, very calculated way. Let's break this story into three simple parts. Part 1, the return of long haul confidence. One of the biggest signals came with a simple announcement. Delhi to Rome is returning from March 25th. This route isn't just about Italy, it tells us three important things. First, Air India is confident in long haul demand. Second, aircraft availability is improving. And third, the airline believes its product can now compete internationally. Rome connects strong Indian diaspora traffic, tourism, and onward European connections. And it's not alone. Air India is slowly strengthening Europe, not exploding into it, but testing and rebuilding routes that make commercial sense. This is very different from the old Air India, which often flew routes for prestige and not profit. Part 2, where Air India is quietly focusing. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Air India's 2026 growth focus clearly falls into three zones. First, Europe. Routes like Rome show Air India want a stronger India-Europe presence, especially where the Indian diaspora is strong, tourism flows both ways, and competition isn't brutally intense. Second, Gulf and the Middle East. This is the backbone of Indian aviation. High frequency, high demand, and VFR heavy routes. Air India isn't trying to dominate here, instead it's using these routes to feed long-haul flights, stabilize revenues, and compete smartly with Gulf carriers. Third is North America, but slowly. Instead of launching too many new US routes at once, Air India is focusing on consistency. Better aircraft utilization, better schedules, and fewer surprises. This tells us that Tata is thinking long-term and it's not chasing headlines. Part 3. What this means commercially. So why does all this matter? Because routes decide who Air India is flying for. Air India's 2026 route map clearly targets Indian families visiting Europe and the Gulf, students and professionals traveling long haul, and tourists who want direct flights instead of transits. This also means something important for competitors. European carriers now face stronger non-stop competition, Gulf Airlines lose some transfer traffic, and Indigo, through partnerships, benefits from feeding Air India's long-haul network. In simple words, Air India isn't fighting everyone, it's choosing its battles very carefully. Part 4. What Air India is not doing and why that's smart. Here's something worth noticing. Air India is not launching too many new routes at once, it's not overloading crews, nor promising unrealistic growth. That restraint is actually a good sign because after decades of instability, Air India's biggest challenge isn't expansion, it's reliability, and Tata seems to understand that. So, where is Air India growing next? Carefully, strategically, and with far more discipline than before. The route map of 2026 doesn't scream ambition, it shows intent. Tell me in the comments which international route do you want Air India to launch next. And if you enjoy clear, no noise aviation breakdowns, subscribe to Aviation-o-holic. Next week, we shift focus again to airports, money, and why India's busiest terminals are earning more than airlines. Till then, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.